everybody, and welcome back. Today we're doing another Simply Layered Pages. So this week we're using this designer paper, which is some of my favorite designer paper probably ever. This is the Myths and Magic designer paper. It has this glittery and this foil look. It's really beautiful. You can see there's some foil and some glitter on there. There's great colors. It has this basic gray and these dragons and knights and mermaids. I've done quite a bit with this paper and I really love it. So we're using that designer paper, and then we're gonna pair together something with that paper that's kind of funny, right? It's gonna feel a little weird. We're gonna grab our crate die out, and it has this heart and there's a star and there's a tag, and those I have misplaced, if you can believe that, but those are the dies that we're gonna be using. So let's get started, and we'll first begin to work on this side. The other product that I've pulled out is this Berry Burst ribbon, and it has some silver on the edge. And I have been using Berry Burst quite a bit because it is a color that is really strong in our occasions catalog. There's lots of Berry Burst that is used. So as always, I'm going to start out a little bit far away, but then I will zoom in and I will show you everything. I have some of my layers already put together, my photo layers. This week I'm working with a 4x4 photo and then 4x6 photo, okay? And then I have a little bit of Whisper White and then some of this designer paper. I'm starting out with a Smoky Slate 12x12 cardstock here. That is going to be the base of my layout. And as always, it's a little bit hard for me to get the entire layout and camera where you guys are able to see, but I always zoom in for you guys. Okay, so let's start by doing our designer paper layers, which is where I always like to start. And we have this great piece right here, which is the other side of this, which I love all of this, right? I love this. I love the mermaids. It's really hard sometimes to use these big designs, these papers that have these big, gorgeous, very busy designs on them. You always want to have them grounded with something. And so this pattern right here that is basic gray, that just has a little bit of an image on it, is going to be great for grounding these pops of really beautiful designer paper. So now what I'm going to do is I want this piece right here. So this was just 2.5. Okay, so that was really easy to do. And then this piece, this week I really had to play around with my layers, and I really probably wasted a lot of paper by cutting and trimming. I didn't have a really clear idea when I was designing, which always makes it a little bit harder. But this is 5.5. And then it is going to be by 10.5. So you can see that's a little bit of a weird layer. So then I have some Berry Burst cardstock, and I have a basic black mat and then a Berry Burst mat, okay? And then my 4x6 photo will just go right on there. So what I want to do is I want to layer these together, and I want to leave some room right here, okay? So again, I just play around with this, exactly where things are going to look and how they're going to line up. It's always good if you are not gluing anything down quite yet. So let me show you some of our other elements. This is a chipboard tag, and it's actually from Ali Edwards. So again, I want to remind you guys to get your supplies out. Every single thing that you do, like everything doesn't have to be new when you are working on a project, okay? So this is some chipboard that I had laying around, and it was perfect. So I added a little bit of that Berry Burst ribbon, and then I also used some of this silver baker's twine, and I thought that that would look really amazing somewhere right there. So I definitely want this designer paper to pop. So I don't want to cover it all up with my photo mats, right? And I definitely want this kind of more up in the corner here. I don't want it quite centered. And then I want my tag here. So then I've grabbed a piece of Whisper White, and this is where I'm going to be able to do some journaling. And so we're going to put that just like this. And then I've cut some of these glimmer stars out. So we have some glimmer paper in that same Myths and Magic set. And so now I've just taken that glimmer paper and I've done these stars, and I might even add one more right here. It will just depend. So I think that that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good placement. So now what I'll do, usually I just turn the camera off and I do my layers off camera, but I'm gonna do them today with you so that you can see what I'm doing. So I've not removed everything. I'm still lined up with my mat down here. We'll add one layer at a time. So now I'll bring my photo mats back over and make sure that everything is still gonna work. And it is, we're still good. Do I want to layer that like this? So that's the other thing. I just decided maybe I want a pop of this paper on the bottom. And I think that I do. So let's grab this layer and we'll add adhesive first. And then let's add the square. So now we can work on this side here. So first, I definitely know that I want my chipboard down, and this piece of chipboard actually happens to have adhesive here already on it. So I can take that adhesive off, and I want that right in the middle here. And then this is going to be my journaling spot, and I could mat this with some berry burst if I wanted. I don't think that I'm going to. I think I'm just going to leave it right here. So, and then I would next do my stars, but I think I want to wait a minute and see if I want to add more stars to it. So let's work on our other side. So we'll leave those stars right there, and then we'll bring in our other side. So let me show you what we're working with. We're working with that same designer paper, that basic gray that's going to go right on the edge. We have a berry burst mat. We have some ribbon, some tags and stars, which I'll show you guys, another piece of that designer paper, and then another photo mat. This right here was, again, another Project Life card from, it's retired. It was from Stampin' Up. It was the moments like these is what this card was from. And I just trimmed it down. So I cut down that 3x4 Project Life card so that it was smaller than 3x4. And I just eyeballed it. I just wanted a couple of those stars on there. And then I wanted this saying. And I am layering that together on a piece of green, and it's actually the other side of the mermaid piece. So that gives us this pop of green, okay? So that's what we're working with. So the very first layer we're gonna do is our end piece. 2.5 by 12 is gonna be that layer. Now for this layer right here, gonna go here. But what I want is this piece of ribbon. I've just taken this ribbon and I've tied a knot on it so it's not even a bow. And I want this right on the edge here. So what I can do is just grab some Scotch tape. It to the back just like that. Now this part will slide. This bow, it's just a cheater way of making a bow. It's just a knot, so this is going to slide up and down. It might be in the perfect position there. I'm not exactly positive, but if I need to adjust it, then I can move it up and down. I can slide it, and then this is relatively flat. So instead of doing a regular bow, it's relatively flat, and it'll fit in my page protector, and it'll be okay. So let's try to get you guys to where you can see everything here. So now this piece is going to layer down here. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with all of my layers first before I start gluing anything down in case I want to adjust anything. I wanted this piece maybe up here by this bow, and then I have these two mats. So let's see what I can do with them. If I lay everything down like this, I will still have room to add a couple of the die cuts that I have. So I think this is what we're gonna go with. So let's move these. And we'll first start by adding this layer. I really loved this green and wanted to work more of this green into this layout, but for whatever reason, I just could not make it work. So down here, we're gonna add this piece here, and we're going right over that ribbon, and there's no worries there. So let's just add this. This piece is an odd size piece. Again, I was having some trouble figuring out the layers. So this ended up being 6 inches by 8 inches, and really I wanted it a little bit bigger, but I had chopped this piece up so much that I didn't have any more. So that is something to consider when you're chopping your pieces up. You might end up not having enough. And I definitely wish I would have been a little bit more careful. Okay, so now let's add these mats right here. And what I'm thinking is I want this to overlap like this. So this, to me, looks a little weird when I have these edges like this. So I always want to try to overlap like so. And again, remember, I'm going to lay everything out first. Okay, so I have all my layers down here, but now what I need to do is decide if I want and where I want these stars. So I definitely know that I want like 3 over here. Like so. That will be easy enough to do. I also cut these tags out of that same die set. These little tiny tags, and what I'm thinking is that they will go here like so. That leaves me with 1 star. I could definitely cut more, but I'm thinking maybe I don't need it. All right, so I went ahead and I put my tags down. I added a little bit of baker's twine and a bow. I put those on dimensionals, and then I also added the stars up here, and those are on dimensionals. And I decided to just add nothing over here. I don't think it's really necessary. And I think that makes a beautiful, simply layered page that you can pop your photos into and put into an album. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you head over to my website to see photos of the way this layout turned out. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back next week with more projects. Thank you much for hanging out with me today and watching my videos. Here are 2 other of my most recent videos. I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will catch you in my next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.